It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the It's Wrestling Time post show. Alright, for tonight I'll be reviewing AEW and Friday Night Smackdown, but let's start off with AEW. Alright, so AEW kicked off with Adam Cole versus Trent Beretta. I have to say, this is a good match. I really enjoyed this opening contest. Poor Trent went through the barricade, so Adam had the Young Bucks, Britt Baker on his side, and Trent Beretta had best friends on his side and Kris Statlander. So, of course, a brawl ended up breaking out between everybody. And in the end, Adam Cole gave Trent Beretta a low blow and ended up winning this match. Like I said, great way to kick off AEW Rampage. Then we had Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett. I have no idea who the hell Andrew Everett is. But this was a quick squash match. Shawn Spears victorious. Then he cut the promo saying that who he is easy to explain. He says that he tells Punk that he's all ears, baby, and that he doesn't know where to draw the line. And that there's a reason why he's called the chairman. He says that he just takes one swing and you'll remember him. And he tells Punk that 7 years gone is 7 years too long. So hopefully Punk versus Shawn Spears is a lot better than Wardlow versus CM Punk. I did not really like Wardlow versus CM Punk. Then we have legit Leyla Hirsch, Kris Statlander, and Red Velvet versus Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, and The Bunny. Another good match. I really enjoyed it. Of course, Nyla Rose, The Bunny, Penelope Ford ended up winning because they took advantage of the fact that Leyla Hirsch and Kris Statlander were not getting along and could not cooperate to win this match. But Vicky Guerrero did get involved, causing a distraction. Then we got a Jay Lethal segment where he came out of nowhere on Dynamite, and now he's calling out Ricky Starks by saying that why Ricky Starks is mentioning his name throughout the whole night, that he has no challengers for that FTW title, and he wants to challenge Ricky Starks for the FTW title. It's crazy how Jay Lethal comes out of nowhere after 2 months of being MIA on Dynamite, gets inserted into a feud. I know it probably will be a good match, but I'm curious to see where they go with this. I really am. So, in the main event, we get the AEW World Tag Team title match. It's Jurassic Express versus Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver. So this is a great main event. I actually really like this main event. I have to say the Dark Order came this close to winning the tag titles, but it wasn't enough. I really like the showdown between Jungle Boy and Alex Reynolds. I think they had good chemistry. John Silver getting in Christian Cage's face. Luchasaurus dropping John Silver on top of Alex Reynolds. And then Jungle Boy at the end with the Hurricane Rana on Silver and sending him crashing into Evil Uno. But of course, Jurassic Express picks up the victory. And that closes Rampage. A really good show. I did like it. Non-stop action top to bottom. So, good show overall. So next, I'm going to be reviewing Friday Night Smackdown. Everyone's favorite show of the night. No, just kidding. Just kidding, people. Alright. So Friday Night Smackdown kicked off with the Usos, who basically said they respect the New Day because they're the only team that has ever pushed them. And they basically announced a fatal 4-way contest, and it's a number 1 contenders match to see who will face the Usos. So the teams were Los Lortharios, Jinder, Mahal, and Shanky, and the random team of Cesaro and Mansoor, and the Viking Raiders. I like how Jey Uso introduced Los Lortharios. I thought that was hilarious. I actually liked this match. It was a fun little match. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't really get to see Cesaro swing Ivar because Jinder Mahal got involved. I actually really wanted to see that swing. I really did. So, and then the Viking Raiders ended up victorious in this bout. So, that should be, I think this is the first time the Viking Raiders have ever faced the Usos. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if it is, should be an interesting first time matchup. Although I don't think it is. It might be. Correct me if I am wrong. Then we had Sami Zayn presenting the InZayn segment, which pun intended, insane, right? He was basically gonna prove he was better than Johnny Knoxville. So he put up like a ramp and he got himself inside a cart dressed in all black and a helmet. And he was instructing two people to push him as he was going to do some type of stunt. But he kept chickening out and he said he wanted to be saved. You could tell the crowd was booing him in this. Then in the end, Rick Boogs and Nakamura attack him. Rick Boogs cutting his hair and looking like Freddie Mercury over here, I have to say. So I don't know when their fight is going to be. It might be at the Royal Rumble. It might be before the Royal Rumble. I don't know. They have not mentioned when it's going to be. So then we got Natty versus Aliyah, who's making her in-ring SmackDown debut. So before this, we had Natty bragging about her records. She had 3. The woman with the most wins, the woman with the most matches, and I forgot what the third one was. But she wanted to beat a new record of 3.8 seconds over the fastest victory and with Aliyah. So she basically beat down poor Aliyah before the start of the match. And then the ref was saying that Aliyah could not compete, but she was telling him that she could compete. And then this was like a very quick match, and Aliyah ended up winning the match in 3.17 seconds. So it was a new record. I have to say, I get it. Like, I get storyline wise that it was supposed to be a quick match because they were trying to beat the record. But I just felt like it was kind of pointless. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know. And then after that, we get another segment with Naomi and Charlotte. And I have to say, Naomi and Sonya, sorry. We find out next week's going to be a championship contenders match because Adam Pearce gave her that. But I have to say, I thought the rivalry with her and Sonya Deville was over. It should have ended on December 10th when they had their match. But yet it's still going on. Why is it still going on? What's the end game to this? What? Is Naomi going to finally join the bloodline? Or what? Like, what is the point to this feud? It should have been over. It's being dragged out. And it's completely pointless at this point. I'm going to rip my hairs out if I have to see that segment one more time. So then we get a Lita segment. She says that she's home. And they asked her why she came back. She says it's been one wild ride. She's had more career highlights than she can count. And then she says that some days she's satisfied with her career. But she thinks she's got one final run in her. And she said that in her days, they didn't have the Royal Rumble. Charlotte interrupts her. And Lita basically says that Charlotte has a giant head. She slaps Charlotte and then gives her that twist of fate. So it seems to me they're going to set up Charlotte versus Lita. Polly for the SmackDown Women's title. Polly at WrestleMania. But honestly, this match really doesn't need the women's title. It really doesn't, unless they want to give Lita the belt. The way they can do this is to have maybe Lita eliminate Charlotte and then have Charlotte eliminate Lita, which will lead to a match at WrestleMania. See? Simple booking. But WWE will probably not do that and will probably maybe have Lita win the Royal Rumble and then have her challenge Charlotte. Especially because Charlotte says if she wins, she'll pick her opponent. Maybe Charlotte will win and pick Lita. I don't know. But like I said, the easiest thing to do is just to have Lita eliminate Charlotte and then have Charlotte eliminate Lita. There you go. That's how you build their match. Seriously. Again, this match doesn't need the title. It really doesn't, but it probably will be for the title. But I'd rather have that match than have Charlotte win and pick Becky and then have a title match at WrestleMania. Seriously. I'd rather have Charlotte versus Lita. What about you guys? Who would you guys rather have? Charlotte versus Lita or Charlotte versus Becky? Or Charlotte versus anybody? Then we have Sheamus versus Ricochet, which was actually a pretty good match. I liked it. But Sheamus, he ended up victorious here after he hit Ricochet with that bro kick. So, okay, so I have to say, the next match, Kofi Kingston versus Madcap Moss. Okay, so Madcap Moss has a cringe gimmick. He is not funny. Somebody needs to tell him that he's not funny and his jokes are lame. Now, Madcap Moss is not a terrible wrestler. Based on this match, which, by the way, he was victorious. He beat Kofi Kingston. He's not a terrible wrestler. He held his own against Drew McIntyre, and he's gotten victories. It's just that gimmick is not doing him any favors. Like, don't get me wrong, I like comedy in wrestling. R-Truth and Johnny Swinger are two prime examples of and Orange Cassidy are three prime examples of comedy in wrestling done right. But Madcap Moss is just cringe. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He is not a terrible wrestler. It's the gimmick just does not suit him. That's not his fault. He tries his best. He really does. It's just not working out. If they would change his gimmick, it would probably work so much better. But it's just not his fault. So then in the end, we get Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns facing off. Roman Reigns now has been Universal Champion for 502 days. And he asked Mahal, Nebraska, to acknowledge him. Rollins says that he wants to do the shield pose, but of course, Roman doesn't want to. He says it's beneath him now. He says that he's the head of the table and the tribal chief, and that he's the greatest Universal Champion. Seth Rollins points out that Reigns hasn't done anything alone. Rollins says that he created Reigns and that he can destroy him. And Roman says that Rollins is just a waste of time and doesn't have the star power. He said that if he wanted star power, he would pick his wife over him. Oof, I felt that in my TV screen. And the Usos come out and try to attack Seth Rollins, but they're unsuccessful. And that closes SmackDown. So overall, when I look at both shows, both Rampage, in terms of wrestling, was a bit stronger than SmackDown. I don't need Aliyah versus Natty. I really did not need that match. It was completely pointless if you ask me. But if you take that one bit out, it was actually Steve Callahan saying SmackDown was boring. Really? What would you rate SmackDown? I'm curious to see what you would rate it, because I have to disagree. I actually enjoyed SmackDown, except for that women's match. You gave it a 4 out of 10. Wow, okay. Hey, you're entitled to your opinion. Rampage is 6 out of 10. Okay, so let's see. Let's compare both. So, Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett, you really didn't need, just like you didn't need Natty. Let me see. This main event sucked. When you think about it, though, Kofi Kingston versus Madcap Moss was technically the main event. So when you look at both shows, like I say, Natty versus Aliyah, we could have done without. Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett, we could have done without. It was a squash match. They both were squash matches. You know, Shawn Spears only had that match, so he didn't even need to have this match. He could have just cut that promo without having to have a match. Michael 101591 says SmackDown sucked as always. 1 out of 10. Wow, okay. Yeah, the women's match on Rampage was better than the women's match on SmackDown. I would say that much. I really liked the Fatal 4-Way opening contest. I liked Adam Cole versus Trent Beretta. Sheamus versus Ricochet was good. The main event was good on Rampage. The Lita segment was so-so. Kofi losing to Moss was a disgrace. Really? Okay. Jay Lee, I could have done without the Naomi Sonya Deville segment. You have to remember, SmackDown is 2 hours and Rampage is 1 hour. So in terms of ratings, I'd have to give Rampage a 3 out of 5 and a 6 out of 10. That's for sure. Just because I really didn't care for the Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett. In my opinion, we could have just had him go out there and cut a promo. we really didn't need a squash match. Like, SmackDown been bad lately. Michael 101591 saying we are getting New Day versus Usos for the 2000 time on SmackDown in March in Brooklyn. Really? I thought that rivalry was over. Okay. And then Rampage was an 8 out of 10. So, and SmackDown, when you look at SmackDown, again, could have done without the women's match. I actually like the InZayn segment. So, let me see. SmackDown is just as bad with Raw, even with Roman. Hey, you're entitled to your opinion. You guys are all entitled to your opinions. We can all feel free to agree and disagree here. But I actually have to disagree. I actually liked SmackDown except for that women's match and the Naomi Sonya Deville stuff. So aside from that, if I just look at, they might call the Elimination Chamber and the Mania Wrestle. Really? Wow, that's okay. So when I just look at the pure wrestling, if I take out those two segments, I actually thought it was a good show. So I also give it a 3 out of 5 and a 6 out of 10. Yep. Both shows. I actually enjoyed both shows. There were a couple things I didn't like from either show, but hey, that's just my opinion. You guys can feel free to disagree with me. Feel free. Let me know in the comments, what show did you guys like better, SmackDown or Rampage? I know Steve and Michael both prefer Rampage, but what did everybody else prefer? But thank you guys all so much for watching this review. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.